Hello, I'm Luther Heller, Superintendent of Schools for Montevideo Public Schools, and I'd like to visit with you today about the upcoming operating referendum and the tax impact of that referendum. Earlier this fall, the Board of Education took action to go to the voters in the November 3rd election to request the renewal and expansion of the district's operating referendum. The operating referendum is a voter-approved levy. It's authorized for a specific amount per pupil, and its purpose can be twofold. First, it can be for general operations, and second, it can be for a specific purpose, and in this case, the specific purpose is technology and program expansion. The term for the referendum is no more than 10 years, and it qualifies for state equalization aid. And we'll talk about state equalization aid a little bit later in the presentation. An operating referendum in Minnesota really began to catch on in the early 1990s. In 1993, 65% of the districts had an operating or excess levy referendum, and the average amount per levy was $332. By 2019, most districts had operating referendums, and the average operating referendum was running $1,468. The voters in Montevideo actually approved their district's current referendum in 2011. That referendum is expiring in June of 2022. When initially passed, it was a $900 per pupil unit levy, with $800 per pupil unit going towards general operations and curriculum development, and $100 per pupil going towards the district's technology initiative. The value of that referendum or levy decreased from $900 to $880.76 over the years. That was due largely to the absence of an inflationary clause and to some tax rate adjustments. Then, about 6 years ago, the legislature established the Local Option Revenue, or the LOR, which gave school boards the authority to levy $724 per pupil unit. For districts with an operating levy in place, such as Montevideo, that resulted in moving $724 out of the voter-approved levy authority and into a newly developed board-approved levy authority. That left $156.76 as voter-approved levy authority. Most of that levy authority supports the technology initiative, and that expires in June of 2022. In the November 3rd election, the voters of Montevideo Public School District will be faced with two ballot questions. Question number 1 will be to renew the existing $156.76 per pupil unit levy for an additional 9 years, and that will also expand the commitment to technology from $100 a year or per pupil unit a year to $156.76. Question number 2 is a new $303.24 per pupil unit levy for 10 years. And this will enhance and expand student programming and offer the opportunity for the district to optimize its state equalization aid. The impact of the proposed referendum is twofold. First, the student impact is that question 1 will allow for the continuation and expansion of the technology initiative. And question 2 will allow program expansion, including Innovation Zone, career and technical education courses, exploratory programs, and computer programming or computer science courses. The second impact will be in the area of funding. question 1, that renewal of the 156.76 current levy, the taxes would remain the same as they currently are over the past 9 years for the next 9 years. And that would be continued, as I mentioned, for 9 years. Question number 2, the $303.24 levy is a new levy, and that would be a tax increase. That also, however, brings the total levy to $460 per pupil unit. The total levy is fully equalized, meaning that 56% of all of the revenue raised through the levy or through this initiative will be in the form of state aid. So how does this operating referendum work? Well, Minnesota has 2 tiers of equalization aid for operating referendums. The first, $460 per pupil unit, is the tier that we're interested in, and all of that money falls into Tier 1 equalization. Most districts qualify for some equalization aid, and Montevideo qualifies for the highest level of equalization aid. That means that with a fully equalized Tier 1 referendum, $56 of the revenue raised would come from state aid. Another way to look at that is that for every dollar of property tax raised through the levy, the state would pay an additional $1.17 in equalization aid. In addition, the referendum property taxes are not levied on seasonal recreational property or production ag land. Rather, the referendum property taxes are levied based on the assessed referendum value on all residential property, all business and commercial property, and in the agricultural community, it's levied on the house, garage, and 1 acre of land. And this is levied at a standard tax rate across all entities. The tax impact of this, for question number 1, the expansion of the current levy for an additional 9 years at the same annual cost. That has an extension of the tax, but no increase in the tax. Question number 2 would be an additional levy or a new levy for 10 years. And if we look at the impact of the proposed 2-question referendum on the average home in Montevideo, and that would be a home with an assessed referendum market value of $100,000, the property owner is currently paying $32 per year. For question number 1, that $32 would not increase, but it would remain in place for the additional 9 years. The passage of question number 2 would result in a property tax increase of $63 per year, or approximately $5 per month for the next 10 years. In conclusion, I would say that it's really worth noting that the impact of the 2 ballot questions that the Board of Education is placing before the voters on November 3rd is the continuation and expansion of the existing technology initiative, along with making program expansion possible across grades K through 12, while taking advantage of the state equalization aid, which will provide an additional 56% of state funding, or, as I mentioned before, $1.17 of additional revenue for every $1 of property tax investment. Thank you for your time this evening, and I hope you found this to be informative.